Thanks everyone for joining this series of webinars, which is organized by Think Tank. We thank Think Tank, which is well known for opportunities to participate in knowledge series. The Think Tank webinar organize a regular webinars on relevant practical issues useful for all stakeholders in finance, corporate affairs, industry, and professionals. Think Tank have been doing a great work since over a decade through Think Tank conferences with CEOs, CXOs, and CFOs. In the panels, we have panel speaker into this from renowned companies who are holding good reputation into the market. Now with digital meeting knowledge series, it is benefiting more than 9,000 professionals. So like when we have these series, there are people joining us at the event. Today what we are here is to have an event on fintech. What do we mean by fintech? So it's basically when we know that financial activities used to happen on a traditional way, wherein we used to go to the bank, we used to have our books of accounts there, we deposit cash, you have a register, everything get registered, you need to go and re-verify things. With technology, things have changed. You think about share trading. Those share trading used to be like you fill up a form, you send to the company, then you get that transfer done. All these things have, the technology has changed things into the financial system. So what we look forward here today is about the Bitcoin, which is basically a changing uh, theme. In case you're not talking, appreciate if you can keep yourself on mute for the interest of others who are listening. Yeah, so that is what we have. I would not speak much over it because we have experts. Narendra sir, you want to speak something about it?
Let's start with what exactly is fintech. And before that, thank you so much for inviting me to the platform and for so many insightful things that have been told before me. So before we get into what exactly is fintech or something like that, let me take you to a story, or let me bring out a little bit of something where you can imagine all the things that are happening, and let me connect all those things which are happening with you. So let's start with fintech first. And when we are talking about fintech, and where we think there are a lot of statements that come in, they say, okay, banks are going to be replaced. Okay, this is going to be disrupted or something like that. But like I think earlier stated as well, these things are going to be a complement to whatever systems that are there, that are existing in this network. That is going to happen. And whatever things that are there, so let me picture it out for you. So today we have the top 10 companies that are there across the globe. They're all tech companies. There is no single company which is just a finance company and it is going out. So what exactly is fintech? Fintech is basically a tech company which is getting into finance, and how they're trying to do it and how they're trying to change and bridge the gap which was existing in the today's world. So that is something that is very important to look at today, where banks were so what exactly earlier what we used to do in 1900s or later of let's say earlier of 2000s, we were going to the bank, we were requesting them, we were abiding by the situations that were there, we were abiding, or we were requesting them, or we had to accept what they were offering. But this has changed. Today, I don't have to accept everything that the bank is saying, because there is a marketplace today. Earlier, the marketplace never existed. There was one single bank, and whatever the bank was saying, we had to go and accept it. Today, we have 100 solutions for that. So if one bank is not ready to give us at our terms, we have 99 other options. So that is why this gives us the basic competitive edge that has never been there in the market. And that is why fintech is something which is very much important and which is changing the scenarios under it. So firstly, it is just like a tech company which is getting into the finance. It is most of the biggest banks that were earlier there, that are still there in the top 10 or top 20 of the global list. They are going to be disrupted very soon. And if they're not collaborating, they are going down. Why I say that is because the technology that is there, the licensing necessarily is their bank. So bank will be getting at the back end, where their work would be to let's say a little bit of centralization, a little bit of having those licenses. But what the fintechs are going to do is they are going to take over that front end. So today like what happens is the biggest banks that were there. So PayPal is there. So we yesterday only saw Elon Musk. He became the richest man on earth. So has he become the richest man on earth? He has been envisioning. He was founding PayPal at the time where people were using debit cards. He was working on electric vehicles when people were thinking of petrol cars, and he has been thinking of going to Mars, and when we are trying to sustain on Earth. So that is something that is envisioned, and that is how he is making, and he's getting more and more traction and more funding and more success in his life, because he is leading the forefront of innovation that is there. And that is why innovation is very much important. And everything that was happening today, the cash economies, these cash economies are literally like from demonetization, we can already see a lot of things went digital. How the digitalization boomed just because of demonetization, that we have already seen, and the various things that came into picture by the government itself, by the policies that were brought in. So they were important. Now when we have low cash economies, what will happen is more and more digitization will happen, and the CBDCs, like we were talking about the digital yuan, which is being generated, which is being done by the Chinese government. So that is a very, very advanced step that they are doing. And this is something that they have been envisioning for the past 5 years. Now, why I say 5 years? Because they have actually laid out the groundwork for everything. They have their settlement centers across the globe, which when they started with the thought that, okay, this is something that we are doing to give benefit to our citizens. But now what they're trying to do is they are trying to create a central digital currency, which is going to take, which they are envisioning to take down US dollar itself from there. So they have that inversion, and with the loans and everything that they have given to the Asian countries, they're even forcing them to Asian and the African countries, they're even forcing them to get outside, use yuan instead of dollars. And because of the huge loans that these economies have taken, they are bound to do it later on. So this is one of the major things that China has been doing. And we also have to look at how the digital currencies have to go out and have to be there. So Indian government announced that they are planning to bring Lakshmi, that is a digital currency that is going to be there for India. But it is still in the planning phase right now. And the US, I think US has also started to feel the heat. The recent what recent Treasury or US government, what they did was, like 2 days before, they agreed to use stable coins for settlements. Now this they are actually agreeing to use a crypto, a stable coin which is pegged to dollar, to be used in the settlement processes. Now, why they are doing it is because they do not have a central digital currency to move out and to regulate. And by the time they have it, most probably China is going to take them over. So this is a step which they have taken in the view that, okay, this is how we are going to compete in the digital world. And this is how we are going to still maintain that power in the real world. So that is what they're trying to do. And today, whatever is happening, the loans that usually the banks used to give. So you had that time frame, like someone discussed earlier as well, that we had a time frame, and in that time frame we had like 5 days or 7 days. Now I can tell you that at night at 2 a.m., if you want to take a loan, I can get you a loan in 5 minutes. You don't even need your credit score. You don't even need anything. You just need your collateral. That is it. No, not even your, sometimes the industries that are right now evolving, they don't even need a lot of documentation from you. So within 5 minutes, you can get a loan if you have a collateral. So that is how fast the fintech world is moving. And blockchain and AI are being the pillars of this movement, the decentralized finance that is getting into the picture. So all these things are happening, and all these things are trying to take back whatever, or you can say, give the customers the benefit that they always deserve. They are giving you a fair market whereby you can have the competitiveness. These algorithms that were there earlier, where your credit score will define how much loan you can get or how many things that you can get, is something that is getting old school. People are looking at smart money. People are looking at how the people are spending their money. So if I'm earning something, what is my spending pattern? That is being looked out now. And this is how it is going to take over the credit bureaus that exist today. They are not required anymore to do the credit rating, because I am doing a spending and income analysis. I am seeing where you are doing. If you are doing some random expenses, or if you are spending your money with no logic and no legality, or no thought process, you might not get a good amount of loan. So that is how, that is more unique, and that is more true to the person through whom you're taking the loan. And startups, what they're also doing is they are interoperable. So if I have an account in SDFC, I cannot go to ICICI Bank and take a loan or withdraw money. But these what they are trying to do is they are trying to create interoperability, where if you have money in one place, you can also withdraw that money from some other place. So this is something that is happening, where they are trying to create something, and through blockchain this is getting enabled to a very large extent. I can take loan, I can take use the liquidity present in one exchange, and I can use that liquidity in some other exchange as well. So that is something that is happening. The interoperability is something which is happening a lot. So you don't have to download hundreds of apps anymore later on. What you do is you download one app, and through that one app you can do everything. So with the advancement of the mobile phones, with the deep pocketing of the major players, and with the more and more people getting into it, we are seeing that everyone is trying to get hold of it. And the APIs that are there, the fintechs that have enabled the API. So if I remember, I was working for some insurance work, and what they're trying to do is they are trying to link every insurance company, which was not possible, let's say 5 years back. But today what they're trying to do is they're trying to create an API, they're trying to create a platform through which you can go ahead and you can simply connect with everything that is happening around, and you can get all the data at one place. And that data is secure because of the blockchain technology that we have been adopting. And this is how the fintech is kind of being a tsunami in the today's world, and that is something that is going to disrupt everything that is happening. Banks, again, like I said, they will exist, but they will take a backseat. So that is how the whole fintech word is going to be there. Imagine it like a marketplace where you get everything. You enter, just enter into it, and anything that you can think of, you can do it. Even if you like, a small example is phone pay. You get into phone pay, and when you are in that phone pay, you can have your food, you can order your food, you can order medicines, or you can order anything that you're wanting to do, depending upon your respective city. That is API integration that they have been doing. And apart from that, if you even say Paytm, Google Pay, so what they're trying to do is they are trying to create their own mini world. And recently, when Google Pay announced, or the Google, this whole Android system, they announced that, okay, they are going to charge 30% tax, something like that. Paytm was kind enough, or you can say more adaptive enough, to come in and say that, okay, we are going to have our own mini store where you don't have to give the 30%. So India is going in the forefront. India is going to adopt in a way where we are not going to be fearing what the world is going to give us. We are going to be giving to the world, and we are there. We are adopting. We are the investments that are flowing in, let's say from outside and from within India. That is huge. I mean, the amounts that are flowing in, you can see the FIIs that are getting into the into the economy, and how abruptly, or how more and more funds are getting into the economy. So that is a clear indication that the economy of India is booming, and the young talent that is there in India is giving you all that power to move ahead and to see all those things. So that was a sneak peek about the fintech that is there. And a lot of people have already talked about what exactly is fintech and where we are seeing the problems. And like, even today, let's talk about a small sector. We have talked about banks, we talk about the insurance next. Let's say when we have insurance today, so what happens in insurance is, today, earlier what we used to do was we would rely on the people who were coming at our place, the agents that were there, and they would say all the good words and all the good things, and maybe we will buy that policy without even knowing that there is a better policy that is existing. This new technology and the new things that are coming in, the new websites that have been built in, where they have API integrated everything, every insurance that is present there. So they, through that, they're trying to build in and give the customers the benefits. So in the end, only that will survive who is going to give you the maximum benefits. There is not going to be a monopoly. There is not going to be any other deriving force that is going to be there. It is just going to be the people who are there, who are using this, and who are getting the benefits of this. So that is how I think the fintech is going to change the world. I think that was about fintech. And one of the technology that fintech uses is blockchain. And on blockchain, so blockchain is, let's imagine an ocean. So ocean is something which is known as a digital DLT, distributed ledger technology. So that is something which is distributed. From that ocean, take out a river, which is known as blockchain. And from that blockchain, if you draw out a mug of water, that is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is that small in the ocean that is there of distributed ledgers, and of the river that is there for, you can say, blockchain. So coming to that, what exactly is blockchain and everything? Before we move to it, I have this one slide which I try to cover in every seminar that I go in all the CXO world. So in this image, you can see two pictures that are there in front of your screen. And these two pictures are not something different. These two pictures are the same bridges which were there, just that these two pictures have been taken just 20 years apart. And now this is like where I tell you that the bridges are us, people who are experienced in this industry, who have tons of experience and who are sitting at the top level, and they have all the good knowledge that one can hold. And similarly, like they were the they were the building blocks, they were the bridges who were connecting the people, who were giving the benefits, who were giving everything out there. And similarly, like that bridge, because the river was flowing, if you have to cross, you needed these eminent people. Now what is happening is you still have that knowledge, you still have that thing, but the landscape is changing. In the two pictures, if you want to see, the landscape is changing. In the first, there was a river. So these the usability or the knowledge that was there, that is still there, and through that knowledge, people are getting onboarded, people are embodying the things that are happening. But in the second one, if you see, the river has moved, which means simply that the landscape has moved, and you still have the knowledge. But if you still are not adapting, and you're still not understanding the technology that is out there, so this is something that is going to happen, that it is going to make people, a lot of people, redundant, whereby so like I think Aditya sir also said in the earlier, change is something that we need to adopt, and change is something if we are doing, and then only we need a lot of reskilling, we need a lot of rescaling, and we need a lot of people to get into it, to understand all these things, and to adapt and make the economy one of the best in the world. So with that, I start all this, and I hope that makes clear why we need to change. This is something which is very important. And when we talk about this, let's talk about why exactly blockchain came into picture. So internet had, I'll just cover it up very quickly. So internet was there. Internet had all the functionalities. Internet made us talk to each other, connect each other. Today, if we are having this webinar, it is because of the internet. Most probably, if we were there offline, this would not have happened. So internet has given us a lot of things. Internet has helped us in reducing the cost of search, collaborations, and it has helped us reach the information pinpoints through anything and everything. But has internet given us all? The answer is absolutely no. Now, why I say that is, today, if we want to establish the identity, like today only in the meeting, like when Aditya and you pointed out that so many Aishwarys are coming into the meeting. So how do you know who is actually behind that screen? So internet cannot do that for you. Internet, and whatever someone is feeding you, they will have to just project it from there. So internet has not been able to establish the identity of someone whom you meet online. Maybe you have seen someone, and that is why there are so many online scams that happen. You see, if we talk about matrimony, there are so many guys who are just creating a fake profile, or a girl who's creating a fake profile and marrying 20 people. So all these things, that is still happening. So internet has not been able to give us that. And so another thing is the trust that we need. So how do we trust you? So if you have to make me a payment, how do you trust me? You don't. What you do is you use a third party through which you're going to make a payment. If I send you a direct link, you will think that, okay, this might be a fraud, or this might be something which is not true. So we need a third party to do it. And that third party, like if we just talk about payments or any landscape, let's say if we talk about Uber, what is exactly Uber? Uber is an aggregator. If we talk about Ola, Uber, Airbnb, what exactly is Airbnb? We say that these people do not have anything. Exactly, they do not have anything. And we're still paying them 25% of the money that actually goes out, 25%. That is huge. And why should we be paying them? What have they given us? They've just given us a website, or they've just given us a facility. Okay, agreed. But the property does not belong to them, or the car doesn't belong to them. The conditions and the terms that they're trying to put on the people who are getting onboarded, that is not something that they can do, because it is not their property at all. So this thing has not been able to be done by the internet itself. And this is where the blockchain comes in. And even like 2.5 billion people out of the, it is like 30% of the people are still not connected to the financial system. When internet came into picture, I think 40 years back, it came with a promise that, okay, we are going to level the wealth creation, and we are going to give equal opportunity. But have they given it to you? I mean, if you talk about Facebook, if you talk about the bigger giants like Google, they have used our data and they have monetized it. If today we are seeing something online, what we are seeing is, if you talk about something, after 10 minutes, you see ads. Is there any privacy left? The answer is absolutely no. And for that, what we are doing is, if we are browsing content, we are paying for it. We are like, for example, if you have a music on YouTube, what happens is people, if that is a good music, people copy it, modify it, and put it on YouTube. And once that is there, they, with the help of SEO, they promote their content. And sometimes if you find music online, you will not see the original composer at the first end. You will see another composer that is there in the second end, who is going ahead and who is doing all the things. And because of that, his views are increasing, and he puts an ads there. So what is the original composer getting? He's not getting anything. Instead, someone else, for his own hard work, is getting the benefit from here. So that is why internet has been there. It was very good for information transmission, information sharing. Bang on, internet did its very great job. But when it comes to moving the value ahead, that value that you need to move, that you cannot do it from the internet. That is why you need something which is so much trusted that you don't need any verification or something like that. And hence blockchain comes into picture. That is and blockchain is just like a second layer over the internet, which is enabling movement of funds creation. And over $20 billion has already been digitized and has moved online. Over $20 billion. And that is the last week's figure, 5 days from now. And there you can see movement of houses, properties that is happening. Dubai has come up with its own online property transfer. You can transfer property within 4 hours. Yes, 4 hours. Today, if we want to transfer a property in India, imagine the number of months we take. We have to go for verification. We have to talk to so many parties and so many people that are there. And that is such a huge cumbersome process. In Dubai, what they have tried to do is they've simply put everything on blockchain. They have integrated the regulatory authorities. They've integrated the insurance companies. They have regulated the banks. So on one platform, you're seeing a single property, who is the owner, who is the lawful owner, and who is there any electricity dues or water dues that are pending to, or have you paid the stamp duty? Is there a mortgage on that? So if that everything is possible on one platform and the government is endorsing it, so that is something that actually brings in the power. 4 months versus 4 hours. That is a huge change. That is a very huge change that is happening. And India is also working on it. The government agencies, they are working on digitizing their land records. Once that is done, this is also a solution that is going to come into India. But this is right now live in Dubai. And that is something that makes us feel that, yes, blockchain is a very good solution for a lot of problems that are there. But when I say that, another thing that I say is blockchain is not the solution for everything. That is a myth that people have in their mind, that blockchain is a solution for everything. And if you have a problem, put blockchain on it. The answer is absolutely no, because blockchain is a technology which is good, but which is very expensive as of now. There are very few people who can actually code and who can actually. So in India, if you talk about India, there are around 10,000 professionals who can actually talk about blockchain, who can give you the knowledge, who can build solutions on blockchain. And that is very less. Out of a population of 125 CR, we have 10,000 people who can do it. So if obviously the demand and the supply that is there, you can see how much is that impacting the whole ecosystem. And that is why it is very much expensive. And that is not a solution for everything. Now, quickly, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about a little bit about what is blockchain. And I want to give this to you in so simple language that if anyone asks you what exactly is blockchain, you can explain it to them very easily. So let's imagine we all are senior professionals. So we have all worked in corporates, or we are managing the corporates ourselves. We all go for corporate parties. Right. So we are going to the corporate parties and we are enjoying the parties, and there is an admin who is controlling all that, who is managing all that. But have you listened? Sometimes there are a lot of people who say that I think the expense was not this much, and they have inflated that expense and submitted for approval. And these professionals, or these people who are organizing it, they are eating up the money. And this is something that you always hear. So let's take an example from there, because this is something that everyone in their corporate life had seen this. So here, let's say we have something called an app called, let's say, Google Sheets. So in Google Sheets, what happens? So Google Sheet is not a blockchain solution. Just that to make you understand what exactly the solution means, I'm taking this example. So Google Sheet, what happens in Google Sheet is you basically, let's say there are 10 people who are organizing get together. So what you do is just add all those 10 people in the with their email IDs, and they will get immediate notification. Now, what happens is, let's say someone is booking the cab. So as soon as he books his cab, he uploads his evidence on that Google Sheet. So what will happen is not one single party will have that data. Now the 10 parties are going to have that data. Everyone is going to have that data. And as soon as that is uploaded, everyone can see it. So it is in public view of everyone. Everyone is seeing it. And everyone has the right to edit it. But if you are editing it, others are also seeing. Now, when others are also seeing it, so you cannot just manipulate that data. Why? If you will manipulate that data, others will automatically be notified that this data has been manipulated. So you cannot manipulate the data. And let's say out of the 10 people, one person loses his mobile. So no problem, 9 people still have your data. So that is again something which is wonderful, which is decentralized. So it is managed by a lot of people. And then whatever you are uploading, whatever evidence you are uploading, everyone is able to see it. All those 10 people who were there in this network, they were able to see it. So, and every time you upload it, there is a timestamp that is there. So it will tell you at this time this data was uploaded. So today, let's say you upload a bill of food for 100 rupees and later on you modify it to 1,000 rupees. So people will know, yes, you have modified it, because the timestamp is going to be there. So similarly is blockchain. Blockchain is basically, in the most simplest terms, a timestamp series where you can see everything, every data that is there on a timestamp series. Second, it is immutable record of data. Like unlike Google Sheet where you can go and edit, once you have put anything on the block, which is later on put on the chain, you cannot go ahead and you cannot edit that data. And it is managed by a cluster of computers. Like I said, 10 people were there who were managing that data. So similarly, blockchain, and if we personally just talk about Bitcoin has over 100,000 such users who have this copy of data. So corrupt one, corrupt two, how will you be able to corrupt 100,000 people? So that is impossible. So that is why we have that much faith in this technology. And Bitcoin is something which is, as I told, it's a mug in the ocean of blockchain. But this Bitcoin is the only technology that exists on Earth whose security enhances every day. For everything that comes online, for every new software that comes online, with every day, the security degrades. And that is why they have to update their security every now and then. And that you would have seen every time you download an app, within 2 days or 3 days, there is an update coming. Why that is coming in? Because new and new vulnerabilities are getting exploited. So that is happening. But Bitcoin is one technology which is getting more and more secure with every passing day. Now, why I say that is because more and more people are going ahead and being a node. If these 100,000 people are getting and becoming 100,000 people, that means now the security is managed by 100,000 people. And it is open for all. You can go ahead and you can become a part of the security. So this technology is something, that is why we have so much trust in the system that is bridging in. That is why we have people from BlackRock, we have people from JP Morgan, who in 2016 turned this technology as useless, are now being the forerunners of saying that this is going to be a milestone that we are going to achieve. This is going to be the next big thing and all those things. And people, Jamie Dimon, who was like in 2016 criticizing and saying Bitcoin as one of the most useless technology in the world, is now saying that yes, this could reach up to 146,000. So I'm not talking about the price points here, but this is something of a technology that is getting out, and that is changing the world how we see it. So that is there. So and this data is not owned by a single entity. There are 100,000 people who are owning it, and you can become one. All you have to do is you have to just download the software and the content, which is right now around 225 GB. That is it. That is exactly what you need today to download, to have the whole copy of Bitcoin network. So that easy. And this network has no central authority, because we don't need a central authority to judge it. The consensus mechanisms that are built in through it are going to be the way through which we are getting this change and this democratized system that is getting built. You don't need a central authority to overlook it. Why? Because the decentralized people who are there, they are looking over it. And why they are looking over it is because of the monetary benefit that they are trying to get. Today, if you are mining one Bitcoin, or if you are approving one block, you're putting one block, you're getting 6.25 BTC, which is right now around 2.5 CR for one block. That is, and per hour right now, the miners are earning $33 million per hour, not per day, per hour. So that is how much they're trying to earn, and why, how they're, because, and if they are earning such thing, they will never try to betray such a system, because they're earning huge amount from that. And that is the gaming theory that has been built in blockchain. The gaming theory that says that you will be rewarded if you do the good work, and you will be penalized if you do not do the good work. So you don't need a central authority anymore. Why? Because central authority was like someone who was looking over it, but the game theory has changed this way. You don't need that central authority anymore. And it is a shared and immutable ledger. You cannot, once anything has been put on a block, you cannot go ahead and you cannot edit it. This technology is something where you cannot edit anything. So, and the information is open for everyone. If you're working on a public blockchain, if you want to see the network of Bitcoin, if you want to see the network of Ethereum, if you want to see major like Binance coin, on all those major coins that are there, they're all public ledgers, and you can go ahead, you can see all those data that is present. So there is no something like today, what happens, there is something called an insider trading. Here you cannot do an insider trading, because as soon as you do a transaction which others are not doing, maybe because the information moves slowly but the money moves fast, so here what you can do is you can immediately see where who has done a major trade, so you can also get into it with that trend. So there is no more insider trading here. And since you cannot edit it, the audit trail is perfect. You cannot go ahead and you cannot edit it. So the audit trail is perfect. The finance professionals that were there, who were earlier thinking that we have to do 10 types of audits. And after doing that audit, we say that we have done the sample based audit. We have, if you go to audit Airtel, let's say, when you're doing an audit of Airtel, you are actually going out, and what you're doing, you cannot test 10 million transactions per day for Airtel. So you will obviously say that it is something which is where you have taken a sample based auditing. And we employ so many resources that there are 100 chartered accountants who are working on verifying the authenticity. Now, with the help of smart contracts which run on Ethereum network, or which is a product of blockchain again, what you do is you can just audit the smart contract, which is a one-man job. Let's say there are 100 smart contracts, you need 5 men to do it. Here with that, you have 100% authenticity. There is no more sample based auditing. It is near real time, so everything is getting updated. If the government wants to see whether there is any tax that is getting levied, or whether the taxes have been paid properly or not, they don't have to wait for some authority to approve it, because this technology is doing it on itself. So that is there. And because of this, I see that blockchain is going to be the major disruptor. It is already disrupting it, and a lot of corporate houses to whom I meet and we have discussions, they're all wanting to get onto this technology. They're, as a function, as consulting, what I do is, this is something where they go ahead and they understand why exactly is the technology better, and how this technology can make their products better. So that is why blockchain is something which is very disruptive, and which is changing the world, how we see it. And there's one line that is said about blockchain is, it is disrupting the disruptors of 2000. So all these disruptors, Uber, Airbnb. And I remember one of the TED Talks in which Mr. Bindra is an employee under Mahindra, Mr. Mahindra. So Mr. Mahindra and Mr. Bindra were visiting US, and at that time, Mr. Bindra was talking to him, and he said that Bindra, this is a technology that is going to disrupt who have disrupted us. So Mahindra and Mahindra was disrupted by let's say Uber and Ola. Their sales and everything was disrupted by them. And reading this technology, Mr. Anand Mahindra, he said that this is going to be the technology which is going to bring back everything that was taken away from us by these major, you can say, players in the world. So if that is something that is being claimed by someone that high, and Mr. Mahindra has started to invest in a lot of blockchain startups itself. If you would have seen recently, there was some news that he was investing in 2-3 startups. So these all people, they have understood the technology, and they're all wanting to get into this as soon as possible. I'll hang on if we have any small questions or something like that before we move ahead to the industry specific.
Actually, there are several questions. It's better you continue because the flow is good and you are talking interesting. And people, we can park the question for towards the end, so that it does not break the flow. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So that is what exactly it is. And there are three. Before I go ahead, I'll say there are 3 industries, And believe me, if you are in one of them, you are already being touched by blockchain in one way or another. And that is the promise. And if you are someone who has not used these three industries, please let me know, because out of that like 10,000 or 20,000 people that I have earlier said these things to, I have not got an exception. So let's start with that thought process in our mind. And the first one is insurance. So insurance has been one of the forerunners, and with some of the companies in India itself or abroad, the insurance sector is booming a lot. Now, a very good example which is there, which was done by AXA in Europe, and which they named as Fizzy. So what they tried to do was they tried to automate the payments of late flight movement. So let's say if you booked a flight today, who you want to go to US, and when you're going to US, let's say your flight gets delayed. Similarly, like when you're wanting to go from one place to another from Indian Railways and the rail gets delayed. So what you have to do is you have to file TDR, and you have to get into a lot of places. You have to go to the window sometimes if you have taken the physical ticket, and you have to fight that this is late and you want a refund or something like that. But here what they tried to do with the help of smart contracts, they automated the whole process. What happens is as soon as you take the particular insurance, online, you tell them what exactly is the ticket that you have purchased, pay the premium, and once that is done, what you do next is, as soon as your flight gets delayed, so there is a time limit that they say that if your flight is 2 hours late, we will pay 25% of the ticket fee. If your flight is 4 hours late, we will pay, let's say, 50%. If your flight is cancelled, we pay 100% back to you. So this is something which happens automatically. So let's say as soon as 2 hours happen and your flight has not departed, automatically in your bank account you get the money itself. No more intermediaries, no more people, no more claim filing, nothing at all. Automatic, as soon as 2 hours complete, you get the money. Now this is getting enabled through the help of smart contracts, and smart contracts are able to connect with the outside world itself. They do not have to, it is like they work on very simple condition, what if then if. So let's say, let's take even a simpler example. You want to pay $1,000 to someone, let's say every month, $100 per month. Today what you have to do is you have to set up an escrow, you have to talk to a lawyer, you have to set up a separate fund account where you will deposit $1,000, and every month there will be a check that is getting that you have signed, that will be put into the system through in your bank, and then that $100 is going from one place to another. Now what I do is I simply build this system on the smart contract itself. What I do is I tell this smart contract, look out for the date, as soon as it is the first of the month, start a pay, give this payment of $100 from this fund which I already have to this account. The smart contract is going to do it until and unless you have balance in that account, or if you define next 12 months, it is going to do that payment for the next 12 months. So what all funds that you set up today, you don't need any escrows, you don't need any agents to do it, you don't need to pay them 10% of the fees that you are trying to give. So all these things are happening. The parametric insurance is also something that has recently come up and is being developed by one of the insurance providers. I cannot name it right now because of the NDA, but they're trying to create one of the solutions through which what will happen is, today if you're working anywhere you're working, and you have taken an, let's say, revenue insurance. So revenue insurance is basically where if you lose your revenue, or you are compensated for that. Or let's say you're taking a stock insurance. So every time you will not have the same stock. Let's say if it is the time of Diwali, you will have very high stock. And let's say if that is, let's say, something of a June or July, maybe you do not have that stock. So all these things earlier were being able to calculate by human intervention. The humans were deciding, and that is why there were a lot of flaws. Sometimes you impress the person who is giving you the claim, and you claim a little bit higher. So there were a lot of frauds that were happening, and that is true to and that is known to everyone. Now what this parametric insurance does is, he takes in your inventory automatically for the past 4 years, or let's say from whenever you have started business, or let's say similar businesses. If you are just a new entrant, you take it from similar businesses who were there, and they are actually on real time assessing what exactly is your stock that is there, and based on that, actual algorithms are getting run. So if you are actually, let's say, if your storehouse catches fire, let's say on a month of July, they are going to pay you, let's say, X amount. And if this is happening on a Diwali day, this might be, let's say, multiplied by 2 or 3 based on whatever your inventory has been in the past. So this is more accurate, This is more something where you don't have to put in your mental pressure or mental exposure. You don't have to wait for anyone. You don't have to feel that, okay, this is how I have to react in front of the assessing officer. This is how I have to please him. If he's angry, he's not going to give me the claim, something like that. You don't have to do it anymore. Automatically all this thing is assessed, and this is something even in insurance sector the government is doing it. The government recently has collaborated with World Economic Forum, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to do this for agriculture. Now imagine I, as a farmer, I am a farmer, let's say, I go to my bank, I take an insurance on my crop. Now what blockchain does is, blockchain is integrating everything. Now try to understand it. It is very simple. Now what blockchain is trying to do is it is trying to integrate this. And at that point of time, what blockchain will do is, as soon as I take the insurance, that insurance data is sent to the government. And from that government database, one, I have created an API, let's say a link through that government database. So every time someone is taking an insurance, that insurance data is coming to me. Second, I have connected with the ISRO, which is the space organization of our country. We have connected with ISRO. We have connected with the forecasting departments, and we have connected with the insurance company because someone has taken an insurance. So all that on one platform. Now what happens later on is, let's say 2 months down the line, there is the forecast comes automatically, which says that there is going to be a drought in this region. As soon as that alarm is triggered, data is sent to ISRO. ISRO verifies this data through his satellites that are revolving across the globe. Once ISRO pinpoints that this is going to be the area that is going to be affected, this data is coming back to the platform. Now, because I already have the data of the insurers to whom, from the insurance company and from the bank to whom I have insured, they are seeing who is going to be impacted. And within the fraction of a second, as soon as the news has come out, you see the money coming into your bank accounts. Now imagine this process. So my father has been working in the banking system, and so he has been covering rural sectors. And my father tells me that this is something that takes 5 to 6 months sometimes. 5 to 6 months versus 5 to 6 hours. That is the power that blockchain is bringing in. That is the power that smart contracts are bringing in. So this is something that has been already developed. The World Economic Forum is working with the Indian government, and they're already working on implementing it. The infrastructure is getting ready. And through that digital land records, they are getting to know who exactly is the owner of that land. So automatically that fund is flowing automatically to that person who has been impacted. You don't have to go to the babus or the zamindars or anyone to see whether this is or ask money from them. There is no scope for, you can say, corruption here, because money did not land up anywhere in the intermediary space. It directly went to your bank account. There is no one controlling it. And that is the power of automation, and that is the power of the technology, where you eradicate everything which can be corrupt, which can be somewhere like where you can go ahead and say that, okay, this money can be used from here, this money can be sourced out from here. So you're killing that all. That is what is the power of this technology. And micro insurances are coming into picture. So today, if I'm going to, let's say, I want to travel to Delhi, or I want to travel to Mumbai, and I'm doing it for via road. So there are fintechs that are working, like say Toffee Insurance. So what you do is you simply log in, you take your insurance from point A to point B whenever you're traveling. And if that insurance covers whatever things, if anything happens in the course of day, you automatically get reimbursed from the company itself. You don't have to file a form. You don't have to do anything. You just have to say, okay, I got, if I met with an accident. So whatever that is happening, this is how this insurance sector is getting creative, and this is how more and more insurance products are getting into the market. Because earlier the products could have been developed. I'm not saying that the brains are working now. Earlier the brains could have would have not worked. Earlier the technology was not there. Today it is there. So if the technology is getting there, you are able to do a lot of things that are getting into this structure. The reinsurance that is happening. So reinsurance, there are various startups that are working on reinsurance, whereby what they do is they connect all the all the insurance and the reinsurance companies, and the movement of funds and the process that is happening. You can say whatever the policy creation, claim processing, everything that is getting digitized. So the money is flowing automatically without any risks, without any delays, without any ados. So whoever has to get this money lawfully, they're getting it automatically. So that is on insurance, and I hope everyone has an insurance. So this is something where I would have covered everyone already. And the next one is basically after insurance is stock market. So today, let's imagine a scenario where you want to buy an Apple share. How do you do it? You first of all open an account, let's say in an international share broking market. Let's say you go for Robinhood, you open an account in Robinhood, then you need an international bank account, then you need to complete your formalities, then you have to buy US dollars, and then you have to send that US dollars to your US bank account, and then you have to make a purchase. Now I knew that, let's say for example, that I knew that Tesla was coming up with a new model, and that would be more disruptive. But this is something which is going to be told to the public 2 days from now. So as if the public will know, the price will automatically increase. And the process today, what I have to do is I have to wait for a month. So even if I have the information, I cannot benefit from it. Now there's an exchange which was one of the forerunners, or one of the person who had given one of the biggest funding to the Biden, you can say Biden elections. That is FTX exchange. So FTX exchange is one of the major contributors. He was the sixth biggest contributor in Biden's campaign. And what he has done is he has tried to create digital assets. So if you right now, if I want to buy an Apple share, I can. Today is a Saturday. I don't have to care about it. Today I am sitting in India. The US market is not open. I don't have to care about it. I just have $100, and let's say Tesla share is $500. I don't care about it. I can have a fractional ownership of the Tesla share within 5 or 10 minutes. If I have, once I create that account, and creation of account just needs completion of your KYC, which is another like 4-5 minutes. So within 10 minutes, I can go ahead and I can hold $100 worth of digitized Tesla share with me. 1 month versus 5 minutes. So this is how the technology is evolving. This is how, if Binance, which is one of the biggest world exchange on cryptocurrency, they are about to go public, and they have filed their paperwork with SEC. And now today, if I want to buy a share of Binance, I can simply go out and buy that share through these exchanges, and the share has not even come into the market. But I still can own something on it, and later on, as soon as it is going to be listed, from there, what I can do is I can benefit from the profits. This is something that is absolutely new, and this is something that is absolutely revolutionary. Why not? Because and voting. So when Biden and Trump elections were going on, the crypto market, or the predictive augmentative market that was there, that was able to predict the outcome way better than the whole US media, who has been there for the last 200 years, versus a new market which has just evolved over past 5 years. We had futures running for Biden and Trump, and their people. So this is where, if you are putting your money with where your mouth is, you are actually giving out the real answer. There, the media was actually, whatever it was doing, whether it was getting the wrong data or it was manipulating, that is not something I want to go into. But this is where I tell you that this market, the crypto market, the augmentative or the predictive market that was there, it was able to predict the outcomes way before the actual outcome came into picture. So these technologies are bringing in a lot of things, and the EFTs that are right now getting listed in US, a lot of fund managers are getting into it. And that is why when we were talking about this price rise that is happening on Bitcoin, the supply is limited. And if the supply is limited and everyone wants to buy it, there is a very, very, very big demand that is getting created, but the supply is very limited. All that is getting generated into the market, all the Bitcoins that are getting generated into the market, they are being absorbed. If we talk about the month of December, there were 23,000 Bitcoins that were created. 76,000 Bitcoins left the market, left the whole ecosystem. That means I created one thing and there were 3 things that were taken out, which means the earlier supply that was there in the market, that is getting soaked up. And who is soaking this up? This is not retail investors. This is not some you and I who has let's say 10, 100 lakh rupees. This is someone who has billions of dollars. These are fund managers who are putting in the money, which is huge. So that is why there is no one who is withdrawing this money. They're just sucking up that supply that is still available in the market. And every time a dip is coming in, so there are wide fluctuations. So if you have seen the last movement, which was 34,000, and as soon as it touched 34,000, it went back to 29,000. People did not worry about losing money. People were as soon as it reached 29,000, there were more buying that were coming in. So this all stock market that is there, that is coming real time. So the settlements that we have today, we need, and first of all, if we talk about Indian, let's say stock markets, first we need a demat account of intermediary. Then we need NSE, BSE. Then we need settlement centers. We have 3 intermediaries, and we have a whole amount of charges that are coming in when we buy such things. Now, Let's talk about no such settlement centers, no NSDL, no CDSL, just no requirement of a demat account, just a wallet through which you can simply purchase. And when you are purchasing today, what happens is you are getting a T+2 day settlement. Here the settlements are happening at T+2 seconds, 2 days versus 2 seconds. So every time I'm telling you, from months to days, from months to days, from hours to seconds, that is how this is going, that is how this is getting reduced, and that is how this is disrupting things. And when this is happening, what is happening is the intermediaries that were there, the intermediaries that ever existed, who were there, who were doing the insurance sales, or who were sitting there as a broker and all those things, they are getting moved out, they are getting kicked out of the ecosystem. And that is why, in the starting it was said, we need to upgrade ourselves, and we need to understand how this technology is doing so much, and why this technology is. So that is the second one. And the third one, the banking industry. Let's talk about banking. What exactly banks give you? Banks give you loan. I can get you a loan at 2 a.m. without any human intervention at whatever amount you want, just that you need to have collateral. I don't need a bank anymore. Second, your credit scores. I don't need a credit score because I am giving in my collateral. If I'm giving in my collateral, why do I need let's say, a credit score for me? I have my collateral. If I'm not paying up, they will take it from the collateral itself. So no more Nirav Modis, no more Vijay Mallya's that are coming in, and who are having an impact on bad debts that are there in the market, because you already have a collateral there. So, and this is automated. So even if it is the Prime Minister of India, he cannot manipulate the system, because the system is running on codes. System is not running on human intervention, and system is not running on human emotions. This is all digital. Here, if you have custodial services, who is keeping my things? The banks are keeping it. I can give you that. If you talk about the infrastructure that is getting built, the infrastructure is getting built online without the need of human interventions. Exchange and liquidity is present on so many exchanges, which is completely decentralized, where there is no central authority putting it. Why? The codes are doing it for them. Investing activities, if you want to invest, like I told you, if you want to invest in a Tesla share, you don't need to get into the stock market anymore. I can still get you that Tesla share or Reliance share or whatever share that you're wanting to do, just that they need to be digitized once. Then KYC and identity. KYC verification can be done online through your through your wallets, etc. You don't need a bank to do that anymore. Derivative markets, such a huge derivative market exists for Bitcoin today. The market cap for Bitcoin or all the cryptocurrencies has already exceeded $1 trillion. So that is something that has already been there. And marketplaces, if you want to talk about marketplaces that are there, prediction markets, insurance, credit lending, what exactly is left for the banks to do? Just that they want to have they can put in our locker services that are there. But I am still not saying that the banks are going to be removed. This is somewhere where all the loopholes, or all the you can say issues that were existing in the banking system, DeFi, which is decentralized finance, is going to take over all the things that are being there, that are there, which can be understood and inserted here. So DeFi is the new industry that is booming in. And with that, I can say that right now there are just 1 million users, but the commitment that DeFi has already seen in February 2020, the commitment was 700 million. Can you guess what is the commitment today? I just saw it before I entered into the webinar. It's over $20 billion. 700 million to $20 billion. That is the growth that this has seen. So this is not something which is small. No, this is not at all small. And here there are just 1 million users. We have 7.8 billion population. Just 1 million is here. And with that 1 million, we have 20 billion worth of creation that has already happened in this. Imagine when more people are going to come in. So again, that through that, we see that DeFi space is going to change all the banking things that are happening. And this is how the fintechs are going to take over. And the banking system is going to take a backseat. They're not going to extinguish. They're going to take a back. And all the industries, this is just a presentable slide where I tell you where exactly the blockchain has been adopted, like in the banking system, the real estate, the healthcare, education. Today, we have so many fraudulent certifications that are going on. In India, we have at least 10. So when we talk about the illegal money, so Bitcoin is the way where we can track and do everything. And illegal money cannot move on Bitcoin. We can properly track everything on Bitcoin network. So that is just one thing that I wanted to add. So you cannot say that later on that illegal money is coming and we cannot track it. Bitcoin is one of the most efficient way in which we can track this money, provided you know how to track it. That is the only ask. And this is a technology. The money that happens, the worst case is cash movement. Cash you cannot track. Bitcoin, even if I send you 1 rupee, you can track that for life. So this is something. Once there are a lot of fintechs that have come in who are putting in analytics on this, and through that analytics what they're trying to do is even a single penny that is moving, they can track you on that.
Both digital and cash can be tracked. It depends on the tracker and the intention, and
Exactly.
whether you want to expose the person involved in those transactions. Yeah, Rohit, please.
I basically wanted to say I agree what Aishwary is saying. I'm aware of that. Only thing is it is faceless. So that is where the issue is. Currently, if you read, I know that it can be tracked, but tracking has to be when you know who it is, where it is. So this is what the things are still evolving. I'm just putting up. I'm at all as my starting point was totally that only. It is technology which is going to enable, but still there are quite a few things that is settled. So it's face. See, till the time it is faceless, you don't know. So people try to venture that you can track everything, but tracking whom, when, where, how, all these things are bit unanswered currently.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Uncomfortable.
I'm sorry to
It is quite
interrupt, but
Aishwarya,
I would like to, we actually are moving out of time. Can I request you to take up your whole session in the next 15 minutes? We can have an open house where we will discuss a lot of points.
Sure.
He has a lot of more slides to take out. I'm sorry to say that.
Wonderful. Sandeep is also here. I acknowledge the presence of Sandeep.
Yeah,
he has come and a significant contributor to FinTech and Wealth Creation series.
thanks, Aishwarya. In fact, it was a great discussion and a talk. I had just one question. You know, in my first wealth management thing, I had specifically talked about bitcoins are issued by whoever it is. You don't know the source of the bitcoins. So that is one of the factors which is a question mark. You can trace the bitcoins is a given. What is your feeling where governments will come in with digital currency and all this talk of bitcoins and other things will get replaced? What's your feeling on that?
I completely agree with you. And this is something when I talk about Bitcoin was you can say, when you enter into an Olympic, there is a torch bearer who is coming in, who is in starting that whole revolution. So Bitcoin is that. Bitcoin is that torch bearer who has come into the picture, and the creation is done by the software itself and everything. But you are absolutely right when you say that once the digital currencies which are backed by the government or which are stable, they get into the picture, the use of Bitcoin is done, where it was telling the people that this is something which you can do. This once it is enabled, maybe it will take a backseat. And this is why people are trusting it today, is because of the security features. That this is a security this is a place where the security is enhancing every day. So that is not a technology that exists on earth which can say about this about them. So similarly about Bitcoin, that is why the trust is there, and they have seen in the past 12 years nobody was able to hack it, nobody is able to crack it because of the power that it requires, the hashing power and the input that it requires. And actually today, if you want to hack the system, you need a whole economy to encash in it. Like let's say tomorrow China wants to do it, so China will have to invest billions of dollars, let's say, to first of all bring it down. So that is something that is there. So definitely your point is absolutely correct, bang on, where you say that once CBDC and all these things come into picture, they are going to take the first front place. And this is going to most probably become an asset class, which is just like, let's say, where you want to do international transfers or where CBDC is not functioning. So this will be the go-to place where other things are not working, but definitely it is going to move from the front picture. And this I can say because USDC, which is a stable coin, which is just got backed by the US government, it has reached the fourth place, third or the fourth place. The XRP suit going on, so it just goes third, fourth. That is what happening there. But this is one indicator where you are absolutely right that these things, the stable coins, are going to take over the world, and they are going to work, and they are going to create all the things that are there.
Right. Thanks a lot.
I would like to acknowledge Bitcoins was the emerging asset class till 2020. 2020 saw emergence and a big rise. Now it is emerged asset class. It has emerged. Talking about trust, some mistrust also. But through such excellent sessions like think tank webinars, global participants are able to join and also understand the importance of Bitcoins as asset class, the options available, and whom to trust, whom not to trust. There are many players. There are many players who will emerge in the future also. It's open house, great opportunities for the creators for Bitcoin, participants, funding. Ultimately, everybody wants a piece of the pie. It's an asset class. More people need to trust the right people. We always have a series, the good, bad, and the ugly. So there are good people in Bitcoin. There are bad people also. And any ugly people would certainly be exposed in the series ahead. But let everybody get an option. It's a derivative word, but ultimately it's an option to the investor, whether institutional investor or individual investor on a corporate. Everybody must have the option. Do your own due diligence, do your own risk management, but definitely don't ignore the opportunity. The time has come. The idea has come long back, and now it's the time to participate in the success story as a proper asset allocation. Wonderful.
Exactly. So, coming back to the thing, so I have to finish it in the next 10 minutes. So we have seen a lot of adoption here, and another example that I can quickly give you is transport and ride sharing. The Uber, the way Uber is getting disrupted. So another thing that you can have to do, if you have excess funds, let's say.
Yeah, I did it.
So today, what if let's say we have 10 lakh rupees and we want to invest, let's say in Ola. So what we do today is we buy a car. With that car, we have a driver. We give that thing to the driver. And once that is done, you are just banking on that single car. If the driver is sick, you have no revenue on that day. If your car has gone to the mechanic shop, there is no revenue that day. If there is low output, let's say low demand today, you get a lesser income. All these things are happening today. But let's say with this, what we do is we try to create blocks. In that 10 lakh, let's say we have 100 blocks of 10,000 rupees. So here, with the help of this technology, earlier this was a very human intensive job. It couldn't be done. But today, with the help of smart contracts, what I can do is I can invest this 10,000 rupee you can say, in 100 different cars across the world. So let's say I put 10,000 rupees in India, in let's say Kanpur, or another one in Delhi, another one in Kolkata. So now you see what happens here is, let's say the Kanpur one, the driver is sick, but still the 99 others are still working for you. That movement is still going on. So you're still earning. If there is a rainfall somewhere, you're getting a surge. If there is, let's say your car is in Delhi, your car at 6 p.m., you're getting a surge, which you might not get in, let's say, some other city, in tier 2 or tier 3 city. But let's say you are in a marriage, in a tier 2 or tier 3 city, and it is marriage season going on. Marriage season, the demand surges like anything. So you have a piece of cake in those 100 locations. So now the risk that we had earlier, and this is where I say the risk that is there, that gets diversified. So instead of just one person and you're banking on that one driver and that one car, if that gets into an accident, you're getting nothing that day. Here, 99 others are still working. So that is getting compensated by anywhere there is a surge, or where there is, let's say, more demand, or let's say where there's a rainfall. So all these things. So this way, today, the transport sector, where today we had very, very high risk on one vehicle, we have now diversified into 100 vehicles. So this is also one use case that is getting developed. Smart money. So we all have siblings or kids who are, let's say, studying somewhere or the other. And they you get a call and they say, okay, I want daddy or brother, I want 10,000 rupees for buying this book. How do you ensure that your kid is actually going to buy 10 books worth 10,000? That is where smart money is coming in. It has been integrated in Singapore itself. Singapore government is endorsing it, whereby whenever you're sending your money, you're telling that you're putting a smart contract along with it, and you're telling that money that only gets spent when you are for the purpose that you're being paid for. So let's say with that 10,000, I'm that student, I get the 10,000 from my father, and I go to a pub and I buy a mojito there. So as soon as I buy a mojito and I want to make the payment, I still have 10,000 rupees in my bank account, but that 10,000 rupee will not make the payment. Why? Because that smart contract has specifically been instructed that you are going to be paid only when this person, when this child purchases books or for whatever purpose you have taken it. So that is smart money that is coming in. The retail investments, a lot of things, the gaming, if anyone is in the gaming industry, games that are there. So today we have so many these big arcade games. So you win trophies and all those things. Or let's say art business, you have art, you are working in an art business. So there is a startup called Artillery. So where what you do is you digitize your, let's say, Picasso painting. So today only one person could have holded Picasso painting. Now here what you do is you put a NFT, which is non-fungible token, you break it into 1 lakh parts, and 1 lakh people can hold a Picasso together. So that is thing that this art industry has already moved like more than $280 million in the last year. $280 million. It is not a small amount. So that is happening. That is slowly happening. So a lot of things are there. Some industries where forecasting, stock trading. So stock trading has not taken the mainstream yet. They're still working on it. The forecasting is still not taking the mainstream. Insurance though has taken it, but energy management, construction, mining, blood diamonds that are there. So tracking of those blood diamonds and everything that is happening, and that will be the next thing that is going to be disrupted here. Moving ahead to the next one, where we see where is the money flowing. So you can see for the major one is in information and communication and finance sector. So this is just an indication where the money is flowing and what exactly is the people or the investors that are there in the industry, they are putting their money in. So that is just for reference purposes. Then we talk about India. We say that in India, people say that this technology is banned. So this is where you can see more than 50% of the states have already implemented blockchain solutions. That blockchain solution are majorly in 4 different, you can say, places. First is land registry, the foremost thing that the government wants right now, digitization of land records. Now this digitization would also remove the land mafias that are there, because everything is digital today. Once that is done, they are going to replicate the infrastructure has for the startup has already been done. They're just waiting for digitization. The Dubai model that I talked about earlier, that has already been done by a Pune startup already. They're just waiting for digitization of the records. Once that is done, we are also going to see that our land transfers, land deals are happening within hours. So that is something that is there. Insurance, I already told you how the agriculture department and the insurance things are happening. So that I've already told you earlier itself. And you can see every state, even for electricity, IoT devices. Recently, Lucknow, the UP government has tied up with the companies whereby they are going to share electricity, the solar electricity that is getting generated. So how this is happening is with the help of blockchain technology, because now there is a global ledger to take care of everything that is happening. You don't have to manually create those entries. You don't have to manually track it. Everything is happening by the digital itself. So the whole Indian map, you can see the dark blue states are the states where the solutions are being implemented. So not something where blockchain is about to come. Blockchain has already come into India. And this is one industry. If this is something which if COVID would have not been there, this advancement would have been there in the next 3 or 4 years. The next 3-4 years advancement has already happened because of COVID, because the trust on the governments or the printing of money that was happening, the way the inflation is happening today, and the way the central economies are printing money, the trust over the system is also somewhere a little bit going down, and people are getting more and more, you can say, influenced by these things which are happening, where you do not need central authorities. Because what people say, like when the Bitcoin also was created, the first statement which was given was, we do not want to trust the central governments, because their rules also cannot ensure that everything is working properly. We had so big scams in 2008. We already know it. I'm not going to waste time on that. So all these things happened, and everywhere, healthcare, digital records, certification, education, land registry, power sharing, everything is happening today with the help of blockchain. So the technology is already here, which is working a lot there. Moving on, I think to the startups ecosystem, I'll not be able to discuss a lot on this, but I'll still tell you where the startups are working a lot. Technology, BFSI, retail, human resources, and all these things which are there. So this is already there where you see, this is a slide from NASSCOM, not somewhere on a general data. This is from NASSCOM last year, which was published by NASSCOM itself. So we see everywhere where we can imagine where there were inefficiencies, this technology is coming in and making an impact. Moving on to the last one, which where sometimes it is said that Bitcoin was banned. So first of all, this is a technology that cannot be banned. Cryptocurrency or all these things move over internet. There is no central authority who can ban it. So let's be clear on that. Nobody can ban it. If I have internet, even if I do not have internet, let's say I'm in a state where the internet has been banned, and if I still have radio frequency waves, which is I can still move money, move funds with the help of Morse codes. So let's be very clear on this. Nobody can ban the system. What happened actually in 2018, let me give you a brief on that. There was a circular which was published by the RBI in 2018, which was on statements on development and regulatory policies, which stopped the financial institutions from dealing with individuals or entities which were dealing in virtual currencies, or to let them be an exit point whereby the people were encashing this. That was the ban which was put by the RBI itself, citing that this is going to be harmful for the customers and this is going to be harmful for the banking environment. But this was squashed when a writ petition was filed by the Internet and Mobile Association of India. I have some people who actually went into this, so I've had discussions on them as well. It was squashed then and there in 2020 in March this year, whereby they allowed the withdrawal of funds from these virtual currencies in your bank accounts. That was the only thing that happened as far as regulations come in. I fought more than 100 cases on income tax where this was called as something which was illegal, and I've won all of them. There is no such case where I can say that anyone has been able to prove that this is illegal. Just that there is a very fine difference between not having a legal backing versus getting illegal. Illegal is where if you are doing something on that, you are penalized for that. The other thing is where you are not legally backed. Legally backed means there is, if you go with your Bitcoin to the RBI and say, give me cash for this, RBI is not obliged to do that for you. That is the fine difference that is there on these two things. So nowhere this technology is banned. And even if we hear articles. No, sir, it is not there. Nothing is banned in India. So nothing at all is banned in India.
But my question is whether I can invest in Bitcoin in India?
Sir, I have been investing from past 3 years and nobody has been able to stop me.
So you are investing?
Yes.
And from where you can buy? Through internet you can buy, but whatever it is showing in on your net.
There are various wallets that are there through which you can buy. And I personally there are 3 exchanges that are the topmost, and I know the CEOs of all those 3, WazirX, Zeppay, and you can say CoinDCX. So
हमने भी इन्वेस्टमेंट किया 3 साल पहले का.
Sorry?
आप ले सकते हो माल वहां से.
हाँ, whatever I have invested in 2018, just that I was not able to encash it for 2019 and earlier 2020. Otherwise, I was still transacting. It was not illegal at all. I have fought cases for that. So nothing at all is illegal in India at all.
So your point is, sir, if I buy a Bitcoin today, I am looking at today. So if I buy a Bitcoin today, tomorrow I can transact with that Bitcoin to purchase or to pay or to anything.
So if someone is accepting Bitcoins, definitely. Like for example, when I teach, I also collect fees in Bitcoin sometimes. So yes, I am accepting Bitcoin. So you can pay me in Bitcoins if you want to learn from me. So something like that, just on a fun part. But yes, Bitcoins are acceptable and nobody is stopping you from that.
So it means 1 million, which you are talking about, that 1 million people are using Bitcoin right now and 20 billion is the volume. So means 1 million people can accept and trade in those.
1 million is for the decentralized finance. For Bitcoin, right now there are 32.4 million, which is officially there on the website itself. 32.4 million users of Bitcoin right now, and the volume is now this crypto.
32.4 मतलब 32 करोड़ 40 लाख.
नहीं नहीं 32 लाख.
Yes.
1 मिलियन में कितना होता है?
10 लाख.
1 मिलियन होता है 10 लाख. तो 3 करोड़ होते हैं.
So these people are already there.
sorry sir.
So 3 करोड़ लोग आज भी एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं बिटकॉइंस को.
Exactly.
सर आज सर ये रिक्वेस्ट है.
So can you tell me what type of role a chartered accountant can play in this game? Because our client would like to invest in Bitcoin, and we stopped them earlier in 2018, 19, and even 2020 also. We have told them not to invest. This is risky, and you can be behind the bar and something. So that is not true as per your interpretation.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, thank you. This is a very good information, and I appreciate the programmer.
I have one question.
Yes.
Say I am new in Bitcoin. I have not known Bitcoin much, but I want to know about it and know where to transact and how to transact the regulations. So what are the sites or what are the medium or ways wherein I can gather that knowledge?
So see, everything is available on YouTube. If you want to have if you want to get into YouTube, you want to, like I think in the starting also it was said, if you want to know about the technology, it's all there on the YouTube. If you want a guided one, you can definitely connect with me, and so we have some courses on this as well. But apart from that, there are various places through which you can learn it, and I will just say that try to learn it from somewhere in the open source itself as well. You don't have to pay in like too much for learning all this. This is something which is available on the internet itself.
You said from YouTube, but there are many people who upload on YouTube now. Which one is trustworthy and which one is not is a big question right now.
A request, you must put your video on before having any interaction. It's a protocol for everybody.
Okay.
Before any panelist would answer.
So simply what I'm saying is basically there are a lot of channels, and I agree. So I will not be able to pinpoint any particular way, and I cannot particularly say that this is the right channel, but definitely there are a lot of people who are there online who are putting it on YouTube, and they are doing it wonderfully well. So that being said, you can study from there. And mostly if people see, the point is, if you want to test anybody's knowledge about blockchain, just ask them a very simple question. What came first? Is it the Bitcoin that came first or the blockchain technology that came first? And the guy who says blockchain came first is the guy who doesn't know about the technology much. Why? Because Bitcoin came into picture first, and later on blockchain was evolved from Bitcoin itself. So there we added a lot of features on blockchain technology. Various technologies were merged. So the first integration that was brought into this was done by the Bitcoin itself. So if you are studying from anyone, if they are able to, if they in their starting videos, they will be talking about this. And if they're telling you this, that means they have the knowledge, they have the thing where you can go ahead and study. Just that sometimes what happens over the internet, you have a lot of information inflow, and which confuses you a lot. So that is why I said, and even in the group itself, or you can ask Manoj sir itself, you can forward them your questions. I will be happy to answer any of those questions that are there. And so that is how you can learn, as for me.
So if I have any further questions, how should I connect to you?
Just mention your name and company name, please, with your video on.
So I think you can either connect with Manoj sir itself, Raghav, or you can connect with me itself on LinkedIn. You can ask questions if you want that way. And so that is how you can connect, and you can ask more questions if you have personally. Otherwise, Manoj sir is there. I think Manoj sir will be able to help you out when you have a lot of questions and you want
the best is to have questions on live chat, and all important questions are being addressed
itself, yeah,
on live chat. And it's a series. All important issues will be covered in the future think tank webinars also. We appreciate the participation of all.